No contact, Mr. Morris, means no contact of any kind, not by phone, text, email, social media, or anybody acting on 53695FY, the people of the state of Michigan versus Matthew Ryan Morris. Mr. Morris, can you hear me all right? All right. Mr. Morris, did you meet with somebody from the public defender's office today, an attorney? Yes, let the record reflect that he's nodding his head yes. Do you remember, did you read and sign an advice of rights form? It talked about your rights to...
This is where it gets intense. Matthew Morris isn't just facing any misdemeanor, it's a felony assault with a dangerous weapon. And the alleged victim? His own mother. But the real twist is yet to come.
I'm going to read those rights to you, okay? So just hang in there while I do that. If you require accommodations to use the court because of disabilities, or if you require a foreign language interpreter to help you fully participate in court proceedings, please contact the court immediately to make those arrangements. You have been brought to court on a misdemeanor. I'm sorry, this is a felony. I apologize. So on a felony complaint, you have certain rights. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say or write can and will be used against you. You also have the right to have an attorney present during any questioning that you consent to, and you have the right to stop answering questions at any time. You also have the right to be represented by an attorney at all phases throughout this process, and if you could not afford one, one would be appointed to represent you at public expense, but you might have to repay a portion of that expense. Do you understand those rights? Is that a yes? And record will reflect he's nodding his head yes. Mr. Morris, I have a complaint that alleges that on or about August 14th, 2025, in the city of Manton of Wexford County, it is alleged that you did commit the offense of assault with a dangerous weapon or felonious assault upon Catherine Kuhn. That is a felony punishable by up to 4 years in prison and or a $2,000 fine with DNA to be taken upon arrest, and a consecutive sentencing may be imposed if it happened in a place of confinement. Do you understand? I'm not asking if you agree with the charges, but do you understand that that is what you've been charged with and the potential penalty? And he's nodding his head yes. Mr. Morris, today, do you plan to hire an attorney, represent yourself, or request the appointment of an attorney? I know you have an appointed attorney in another file. Do you want the court to make an appointment for an attorney?
You're kind of stupid.
Okay, so do you want to hire an attorney, represent yourself, or request the appointment of an attorney?
Same charges I didn't do.
I understand that, Mr. Morris, but right now my question is about an attorney. Do you want an attorney? So you're shaking your head no. So do you plan to hire an attorney or represent yourself? Represent yourself? And I'm getting that by him holding up two fingers, which would be the second option I gave him. Mr. Morris, for the time being, I don't think that that request is knowing and voluntary. I have a duty to make sure that your rights are protected. And so for purposes of today, I'm going to make a referral to the public defender's office for the appointment of an attorney. Now, if something happens that you decide that you don't want to stick with that appointment, you can always request that the attorney be released or that you hire your own attorney, and we'll have a hearing on that. Do you understand that? There is no response. The court will enter a not guilty plea and will set the matter for a preliminary examination. That's a hearing that's held here in this court within 21 days. And at that hearing, the prosecution will be required to prove two things: one, probable cause that the crime had occurred, and two, probable cause that you were the person who had committed the offense. If the prosecution is not able to do that, the case would be dismissed. If they are able to do that, you'd be ordered to stand trial in circuit court. Prior to that preliminary examination, there'll be a probable cause conference, and that is where your attorney and the prosecutor will see if there's a way to resolve the case short of going to trial. You also have the right to have a bond set. Your bond is based upon the probability of you appearing at future court appointments and the seriousness of the offense charged. Counsel, historically, I show that there's a 4A, and then he currently has that's a domestic case he's on too. Danny, that's a domestic case that he's on too?
Yes, correct.
And he currently has a domestic case pending with Judge Van Alt that was a fail to appear. Any comment regarding bonds for the Defender's Office?
Yes, Your Honor. I would just state that obviously there are some potential competency issues here. If there's offense taken from the defendant's attitude, I would respectfully ask that the court take into account his age.
The court takes no offense.
Okay. I respect that the previous criminal history is relatively similar and that he was enough to understand the status, but I would ask for a low cash bond, probably so we can evaluate the competency. Thank you.
And I should have mentioned the praxis. The praxis scored him at a level 5, but I think that was inaccurate because the question marked whether or not he was on pretrial release was marked no, but he was on bond in the case that he failed to appear for. So I think that should have been scored at 1 point, which would raise it from a 5 to a 6, from medium risk to high risk. 5 to a 6, which makes it medium risk to high risk. And I will also state, at least according to praxis, it appears he's homeless. So does that change your stance on anything, Ms. O'Mara?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Ms. Lawrence?
Thank you, Your Honor. Unfortunately, our office has not received a police report on this matter yet, so I apologize. I am also just going off the facts in the affidavit, which alleged the defendant threatened his mother with a 4-foot-long, what's described as a spear. I do know this turned into a standoff with law enforcement, trying to get the defendant to come out of the house and to surrender. People can acknowledge there may be some mental health concerns in this case, but we do have a very big concern for public safety, and I think that's clear given the facts and the charges. The people are going to ask for a $50,000 bond, as well as a no contact order with the victim. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Lawrence, I realize that you don't have a full report, but do you know whether or not the spear or the knife was actually located? Cause affidavit. I know I signed a search warrant yesterday to search the residence for both him and the spear.
Judge, I did get a return and tab today, this week.
All right, so the return and tabulation indicates the spear was located.
Okay.
All right, based on what the court heard today, I do find that Mr. Morris is both a flight risk and a threat. I find him a flight risk in that he failed to appear on the case that he was here for, the domestic case, and the standoff with law enforcement. Several agencies were involved in that yesterday. I also find that the defendant is a threat, given that it's alleged he went to attack, I believe it was his mother, again, allegedly with this spear. The argument was over butter being left out, or at least that was what was recorded. So the court is going to order that a $50,000 cash surety bond is appropriate. that Mr. Morris appear as ordered, keep his contact information current, not leave the state without permission, and to commit no new crimes. Additionally, is not to have any contact with Catherine Kuhn. No contact, Mr. Morris, means no contact of any kind, not by phone, text, email, social media, or anybody acting on your behalf. I'm also going to order that he not purchase or possess any firearms or weapons, that he not act in any threatening, intimidating, or harassing behavior, that he be placed on GPS tether, location services. Ms.
So here's the bottom line. The judge set a $50,000 cash bond, strict no contact rules, and GPS monitoring. A family dispute escalated into a felony case with major consequences. What's your take on this ruling? Drop a comment, hit like, and subscribe for more dramatic courtroom moments.